Okay, so the space that you're in, you see yourself surrounded by tall, successful, handsome black men. Do these tall, successful, handsome black men like black women, or do they prefer white women or women of other races?
I would say this with no insults, because I have a lot of friends who are white and work in white spaces, and one of my best mates, Ted Hart, is a brilliant white missionary. I don't I don't think that it's helpful dating outside of your race. And so a lot of my friends, at least my very intimate friends, are with black women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's important culturally for us to be with black women. But love who you love, obviously. And but again, the stats may say otherwise. I feel like every time I turn on TV and I see a football star, an NFL star,
Yes.
or a
Yeah.
NBA star, there's a non-black woman.
That was to the successful, handsome, or attractive black, right? Not just the successful one that no one's getting time of day, like the nerdy art one, but the ones that a black woman may actually aspire to be next to.
Mhm.
Right. You see, and I think that's for a lot of the disdain, the frustration comes from that, because I think we can all agree that the media representation is pretty heavy, especially television, the athletes, of course, the actors. There is a big push towards interracial, whether or not that's reflective in the general population.
Yeah, but I think, definitely correct me if I'm wrong, I think black women, white men relationships are the fastest growing interracial relationship right now.
Now, with respect to what? As far as sexual access or marriage? Because to my understanding,
I don't know if that delineated. All I know is that they said the fastest growing interracial relationship is between black women and white men, and they are the most successful. When they do get married, they just don't divorce.
yeah, well, the information that I've seen, and I did a live about this a little while back, where, first of all, to my understanding, in the United States of America, right, 1% of white men, less than 1% of white men have a black wife. Less than have a black wife. Now, we're not talking about sex, but we mentioned that earlier. We're not talking about sexual access.
No.
We're talking about, okay, she's taking on my black Korean legacy, right? Less than 1%. Recent studies from a team of sociologists who was looking at dating patterns, especially online, they had a few interesting insights to share. Primarily was that people still, by and large, choose their partner based upon race. This is a part, right? Secondly, was that the white community, white America specifically, is the most race loyal. This is what this team of sociologists found when they were looking at modern dating. And yeah, they also found that white men's preference, by and large, is still primarily for white women.
Mm-hmm.
This was looking at modern dating. I want to say it was published in 2019. It came out of, I think, UC Berkeley, and yes, the dating divide. Yeah. But it was a team of sociologists. They had studied it over a span, I think, of like 7 or 8 years, and they're looking at modern dating. So they're like, what the activity and the numbers and stats are finding is a little bit different than the conversations that are being had online. And white men have always had sexual access to black women since the plantation, right? So that's nothing new. It's not really surprising. That's always been going on. And my thing has always been, for all of the black women over there talking about expanding their options, where are the white men talking about that? Where are the white men saying, I'm going to expand my options of black women? I've yet to see
Asian.
Yes, with Asian.
So thank you. I do want to correct myself. I remember the study now. The study was just saying that black women are the fastest growing group of women dating outside of their race. Not that they were dating white men, but that they are the fastest growing. They're at the rate of other races. They are the only women who are doing it more often now. Meaning, black men, again, talking to you, we're losing them. It's not good. And so that's happening at an alarming rate, more often than it had been in the past, because black women are, and by and large, still are race loyal. They're lenient. They want to be with black men. They want to date black men. But, and especially here in the Bay Area, which you'll know, it's difficult.
Well, I'd be curious if you find that study, please send it to me because I want.
Shanice shared it with me.
She hasn't mentioned shade.
No, she shared it with me. It was hilarious because I argued with her and she was like, look, these are the stats. And I was like, oh my God.
I would love to see that because, I think the narrative about the has been that Black women have been the most race loyal. And for a long time, I believed that. I really did. And for a long time, I really bought the narrative. All these Black men out here are just chasing all these nobodies. And listen, I know that there are. I know personally Black men out here who are self-hating and not like Black women because they have I know that exists. But I think we would be, remiss if we did not identify the level of self-hatred. In my opinion, I feel like I perceive them on the Black women that has gone unaddressed because it's not that Black women don't want to be with white men or other races of men. It's just they are not always chosen. They're the preference. As I mentioned, the sexual relationship between white men and Black women has happened forever. Look at Scandal. I think Scandal was the most grotesque, disrespectful depiction of modern day romance ever. And that thing got Emmys. You have people all over Black women talking about it's empowering. I'm like, she's literally the definition of a modern day quote unquote Bedouin. She's the mistress of this high value man, but they try to make it all beautiful or whatever.
Yeah.
But that had some very old stereotypical, it was giving like Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings vibes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we literally have a historical evidence of those relationships happening all across the board, where it's like Black women, sometimes they were forced in that position, and then he also had Black women who kind of aspired for a better life than average Negro by associating themselves with white men. And this is actually what the book I was telling you about, the study. What they found was that all the races of women had preference for white men, right? That's the whole thing. But they found that the hypergamous nature of women, their theory was that the hypergamous nature of women meant that they were constantly looking to try to align themselves with men that they believed had power. And all races of women, immigrants, Black, Asian, Latina, especially those who came from other countries, saw assimilating in the white culture as the best way to get access to power and wealth. And so that's why they had a preference for white men, because they thought he's going to have money, he's going to have a social status. So it's very intriguing. But I'm saying that because I do think there's these narratives out here about Black women, we're just so loyal and always Black women are out here. And I'm like, I think it's a little more complex. I think there's a little self-hatred that happens on both sides, that if we're not willing to reckon with that or address that, then you see an imbalance, in my opinion.